On this episode of Motorhead Garage, Brian learns about some new tools that can fix and prevent common engine and oil problems. But before that, John installs a new versatile trailer hitch. Next on Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Plastic.
Hello and welcome to Motorhead Garage presented by Dustless Plastic. If there is a worse situation to be stuck in the shop, I don't know what it is, but if you break off a bolt inside a cylinder head, especially if you're trying to take an exhaust manifold off or something, you're going to kill a ton of time, there's a lot of frustration, and chances are you could do severe damage to the head trying to get it out. We got a guy here, Scott Byler, and Scott has developed the Byler's Manibolt driller system, and you have effectively come up with a solution to a problem that a lot of people have had. What am I looking at?
Well, Brian, what you're looking at is options. What we show is a dedicated tool for engines out there that are most common for having this problem. And what we have designed is a dedicated fit with components that are interchangeable. With that said, as our users go from one engine to the other, they don't need to buy a kit every single time.
I want to look at a couple of options we have here because this is not just a one-trick system. You have multiple, we have some engines on display here. So let's show me what I'm looking at here. How does the system work when I'm looking at this small block Chevy?
Well, what you're looking at is the platform. Here's the template. This is the CSB 203G. This is for the 350 or small block Chevy. And mounted here, we have the tap drill size shown. This is what we call bushing clamps. And the hardware is the knurled thumb screw. This is what mounts the bushing clamp to it.
And the genius of the system, of course, is that when you come in here with your drill bit, you're not going to be wallowing out the hole. You're not going to be, the thing's not going to come in at an angle. It's going to come straight in the way it needs to.
Exactly, straight on center and perpendicular.
And it's not just small block Chevys. Of course, you have a modular Ford setup here. We have a setup for late model Hemi engines, which we also have a cylinder head we're going to talk about here in a second. But when using this system, what are people kind of eliminating when they're trying to do it the traditional way? What are you fixing with using this system?
We're eliminating guessing. We're eliminating chance, and we're basically guaranteeing a fixable repair, and a fast one too. People that encounter this weekly, daily, it takes them within hours, whereas this, they get it done in about 10, 15 minutes.
And it's not just one drill bit size either. If you break off an extractor trying to get the bolt out, you also have options for getting that extractor out. So
exactly.
I would like to see how the system works, and we have this late model 5.7 Hemi cylinder head to try out.
Sure.
All right, Scott, so we have our 5.7 Hemi head here, and we're going to go ahead and use the system. Let's go through the steps. So where are we going to start here?
Well, most importantly, Brian, is to clean the head surface.
Okay.
That'll ensure proper mount without any interruption.
All right, perfect. So we got the surface cleaned up. What's the next step?
Well, the next step is mounting it. So this simply just sets on here like such. Given the use of the available holes, the flatheads will naturally seat this thing.
Okay. And we're just going to go ahead and snug those down with our...
Snug them down, sequentially snug them down.
All right, so now that we have the plate snug down, the next thing is going to be the guide. Now, we're going to go with the 17/64 guide, and you have a couple of options in here, but with this 17/64, we're effectively just going to be drilling out the bolt there. We're not going to go for an oversize or anything like that.
Exactly. Right? Making sure everything's somewhat clean. With that clean, everything good, it's a precision tool, is what it is. And with everything clean and then set up real nice, it's going to take care of you.
So the next step is pretty simple. We're going to drill, but before we drill, it's a great idea to check our depth, right, Scott?
Exactly. What we'll do is use something small like this, put it in any available hole. Usually it's about 1 inch. Simply just measure. What are we getting? About 1 inch. Our tool height is 3/4 of an inch, so just add that. You should get about a 1 3/4 stick out.
Okay. Well, we got our depth set, got our drill here. I'll take that stuff and let you do the honors.
Don't mind holding the head.
Man, that was super quick. That was actually pretty amazing. One of the kind of handy tip, you can also use some lubricant like maybe PB Blaster in the hole. That'll help you with the drilling and kind of help manage your shavings as well. Now that we have the hole drilled, what's our next step?
Well, the next step, we'll just clean everything off here, and we'll switch to our letter P. Our letter P will be used as a guide to make sure we're still straight up and down with our tap. Letter P is in decimal form is 323. And also, too, if you want to move up to a bigger size, this is also used for a heel coil. tap drill size for the STI tap.
Let's do it. All right, so we blasted our whole little PB. You're going in with the tap. And one of the things I wanted to mention is that while we have this cylinder head off for demonstration purposes, this system can be used with a motor in a car, correct?
Exactly. It depends on the vehicle. There's obstructions in the way there's steering shafts, there's wire looms, there's hoses, there's all sorts of things.
All right, so our hole's made and is now tapped, so we're ready to put a new exhaust manifold bolt in this Hemi head. Where can people learn more about the Manibolt driller?
They can find us online.
That's very cool. Scott, you've come up with a beautiful invention here. I'm sure that people will be giving you hugs and kisses on the cheek every time they try to use this thing and save themselves hours at the shop. We'll be back with more action here from Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Plastic, in just a minute.
This edition of Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Plastic, is being brought to you by Heat Shield Products, family-owned, American-made since 1985. Twisted Shifters, made in the USA the only way. Dyno Proven, tuning and parts. And by Dustless Plastic, it's the future of surface preparation.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Plastic. Well, if you tow a trailer or multiple trailers, you know how important it is to have the right size ball and to tow it at the right height. Well, Tracy from Jeanie Hitch, you got that covered. It looks like you have the most versatile hitch in the market. Tell us a little bit about it.
Absolutely. We do believe that we have the most versatile hitch in the market, given the fact that you can haul all three size balls, and with the pull of a pin, you slide this out. Now you've also got your pintle hitch, which can be adjusted into any of the height slots. We have this anywhere from three high in standard up to 6 slots high.
And what ball sizes can you get with it?
We have 1 7/8, 2 inch, and 2 5/16 that come with the 2-inch models.
Now this is really cool because we can pull this out as well, and you can see inside of here, I mean, this is all boxed in here, and also all these different heights are adjustable. Now, what if I get a truck with a high truck with big tires? Can we flip this thing over?
Oh, absolutely. Just flip it over and you can start the whole sequence over again. Going up, the weight ratings stay the same. As far as your weight ratings on the hitch do not change just because you flipped it up.
Now these trucks today, they're towing 20,000 pounds of trailer capacity. This thing can handle that?
We have a 2.5-inch model that goes up to 21,000 pounds and has all the versatility that the 2-inch model does have.
Well, I really like this pintle here. Can we go over and take a look at it? We got one hooked up right here. Let's see how this thing works. Now your pintle's on your truck, the trailer's on there as it is. Why don't you show us how easy it is?
Well, all you do, like I said, is you pull one pin, you slide this back, and now you're ready to disconnect your trailer.
I could winch it up right
You
now.
just winch that
Pull it
up.
right over it. Wow, nothing to it. And you can see here with the multiple heights, it's nice. You're going to get it level. You're not going to do any damage to the bearings of the trailer. Tires are going to track true, and it's also going to brake. That's so important.
Absolutely.
Well, we have one more trailer to hook up with the weight distribution system that goes along with it. But before we do that, check this out.
Time now to connect with Garage Social. This week, drive yourself happy with Jeff Mosing.
I think the first time that I realized I was really interested in the automobile was the age of 6 with my brother Brent restoring a 1953 MG. Cars have definitely played a large role in my life. I have a personal collection of about 45 to 50 cars. The fastest car I have is the Porsche 918. The most valuable car I have is probably the Ferrari F40. Each car has its own characteristic, and they can move you in different ways, and that's what makes them enjoyable. I got into racing through my older brother. It left a mark on both of us. I've been racing professionally now since 2009. Drive Yourself Happy was so important to me that we actually trademarked it. That's what driving is meant to be. It's not just a matter of getting from A to B. If my wife and I go to dinner, we'll always take a long way home and just enjoy the drive. For more information, check out my profile at garagesocial.com.
Now, Stephanie, Jeff's profile really embodies the car guy. I mean, age 6, 7, and 8, we're checking out cars.
Yeah, exactly. He has a huge collection, 45 to 50 cars, which is amazing.
It is, yeah. He's got a whole bunch in there. He's also talking about drive happy and stuff. That's awesome that he patented that.
Exactly. And not only is he a car collector, he also is a avid car racer, which is amazing.
Yeah, and that's neat that he can share that on social media. I mean, everybody can see that.
Exactly. So everyone needs to go check out his cars on Garage Social.
Find Jeff and others on garagesocial.com. Well, we got our trailer all hooked up. But Tracy, we got a weight distribution system to hook up, and I know at Jeanie Hitch, you guys made this thing real simple, but before we hook it up, why would I even want one of these, and what would be a good trailer to use it on?
Well, especially travel trailers or any trailer that has a lot of tongue weight and they're being bumper pulled like this, it is imperative that your weight be distributed equally throughout the trailer. It gives you better braking, better control of the trailer when it's being pulled. And distributing that weight back off the back of the truck is also going to save the back of the truck from getting beat up as bad.
It's all about the tongue weight.
It is about the tongue weight.
Now you guys, you probably couldn't have made this any simpler. We got our hitch hooked up here, and now this is nice. The whole powder coated, the boxed in. I mean, you're not going to get any stretch there. You can see it's hooked up real nice. Why don't you go ahead and demonstrate it for us? It's so easy.
Absolutely. You slide this up over the ball.
Now that ball is the existing ball that we use for the trailer.
This is the existing ball, you're correct. This can be done on the 2-inch model as well as a 2 5/16 inch
So we can flip that over, use either one of them.
Flip it over, use either one of them.
That's pretty versatile. Pop that in, and I'm gonna hook this chain up here. Now if we were doing this, we might want to take some of the load off the trailer and support it, but let's hook up the other side. Just pop it in, it's that easy. Goes in like that, and your chain's gonna hook up. Like I said, we're just kind of demonstrating it, but we got a pull here. We can pull up. Oh, you can see it lifted up as it did, and that's only on the first hook.
That's absolutely right.
So what's actually going on here?
What happens is these bars are spring steel, and what they do is they take the tension from the hitch, and being tied into the trailer, it actually distributes the weight towards the back of the trailer.
That's awesome. What's your website?
www.jenniehitch.com.
Now this is definitely towing made easy. This is it right here. Well, stick around. There's plenty more Motorhead Garage right after this break.
Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Plastic, coming to you from Borla Commerce Park.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Plastic. If you can believe it, this is the most important part of your entire car. It's an oil pan drain plug, and well, this is kind of an expanded version of one. This is what keeps all the oil in your motor and keeps things from melting down when you're driving down the road. Now, there are several problems that can come up with something as simple as this drain plug. We have a company that's created a great solution to make this drain plug a better, more effective part of your car. Paul from the Smarto Drain Plug Company is here, the intelligent drain plug. Tell me about the 3 biggest issues people see with oil pan drain plugs.
Well, Brian, the 3 biggest issues are leaving them loose or untorqued, over-torquing them, or leaking at the washer.
All 3 of those things can lead to some pretty disastrous results. What has Smarto done to effectively upgrade the quality and effectiveness of a drain plug?
What we did was we contracted DuPont to create an O-ring for us that will expand 10% when it contacts oil and heat.
That's pretty amazing stuff. Now, application-wise, you know, as many cars as there are on the road today, as many different oil plugs that have been made over the years, how many applications do you guys have?
We fit about 95% of the vehicles on the road, over 30,000, with 17 different SKUs.
That's an amazing factoid right there. And one of the things that Smarto offers is this great gauge right here. If you happen to not be able to find your particular plug in their application guide, you can use this gauge to check the length of the bolt, check your flange diameter, and you can go ahead and check the pitch of the thread as well. Now, when we talk about a drain plug and installing it, most guys think, hey, just take this thing and crank it into the oil pan as hard as it goes. That's not really the right way to do things. Best practices for installing a drain plug.
Best practice for installing a drain plug is using a torque wrench, and always change the washer.
And let's talk about that washer a little bit. Obviously, all your plugs come with the nice aluminum washer on there. Such a simple piece. It looks the same as it did when I took it off, but this washer changes every time you install the plug, correct?
That's correct. It's a crush washer. It's designed to crush to help it seal. Once it's crushed once, it takes almost double the torque to crush it again.
And doubling the torque in an oil pan plug is how you strip the threads out of it or completely mangle the oil pan. If you got some old pickup truck or something, it's not that big a deal to take a pan off, but in a modern car like this Nissan Altima we got behind us, that is a nightmare.
$300 to $400 repair.
$300 to $400 repair. I'll tell you what, we're going to not only talk about this, we're actually going to install one of these plugs. We're going to talk about it underneath the car and kind of go through some of the reasons why the Smarto is the best way to seal your oil pan. So we're under our Nissan Altima here, and Paul, this is a perfect candidate to get a smart oil plug. As we look at the underside of the car, you can see that clearly the plug is leaking. There's some oil in the bottom of the pan, and it's been leaking for a little bit amount of time because we can see some oil that's traveled to the back of the car. One of the things, I'm going to go ahead and pull this plug out of here. Do you guys use the same material that the factory uses, or is it a different material that you make your plugs out of?
No, Brian, we actually use a softer material, and we do that by design. We want we tested all the different oil pans and materials they're made out of, and the material that our plug is made out of. And we went a little softer so that you would strip our plug before you would strip the oil pan.
Wow, that's a pretty neat safety, kind of a built-in safety feature. You know, if we can kind of look at the two plugs here, that the factory plug on in my right hand here, and this is the Smarto on my left side. That green O-ring, is there a reason that thing's green?
Yeah, that's a Teflon coating that we put on there for the first installation. That will wear off, but you'll have oil on it for the next installation.
So as the oil is draining out of the pan, you know, one of the kind of, I guess, hidden benefits of this product too is an environmental benefit. The oil that's on the bottom of this car ultimately is going to escape and get into the ground somewhere, and that's not where we want it at all.
That's correct. Used oil is the #1 water pollutant in the U.S.
Pretty amazing stat right there. When we get ready to put the plug back in, you know, this is the tool that most people are using to put their oil drain plug back in with, not the proper tool. What we need to be doing, and how do we need to be doing it to properly install the plug?
You need to use a torque wrench, and we did a extensive study in a laboratory to come up with a torque spec of 18 foot-pounds for all gasoline engines and 30 foot-pounds for all diesel engines. So you don't have to fumble through torque charts.
All right, Paul, we got the old plug out, we got our oil drained, and now I'm going to spin the new Smarto plug in there, which is going in beautifully. As I get ready to torque this thing in, tell me where I can find Smarto plugs and where I can learn more about them.
The best place to learn more about it and find them is on smartoplug.com. There's a where to buy section, and there's a lot of information on there as well about testing and whatnot.
So that's it. Smarto's installed, oil leak is fixed, and we're going to be back with more Motorhead Garage after this.
This edition of Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Plastic, is being brought to you by Clamp Tight, the clamp making tool. Cage Works, race-inspired UTV parts and accessories. Stage 8, the world's best locking fastener. And by Dustless Plastic, it's the future of surface preparation.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Plastic. If you're building a hot rod, a street rod, or even a classic truck, you have two major concerns, form and function. And I have Marty here from Ididit to talk about those two things with this brand new steering column offering from Ididit. And man, this thing is beautiful.
Oh, thanks. It's our new 40 Ford column. We just came out with it. We introduced it last week at the NSRA Nationals. In fact, it won Best New Product. It's
fantastic. The great thing about this product to me is the fact that we have the old school look where we have this exposed shift tube, which is really neat because if you've ever seen a 1940s automobile or a pickup truck, you know for the fact that they always had that exposed shift tube. Self-canceling turn signals in here, and you got detents in the shifter. So talk about kind of the integration of the historic look, but all the technology.
Yeah, okay, so that's what we wanted to do. We wanted the old-time look, and it's great for 40 Fords, it's great for Model A's, 32s, old trucks, whatever a guy wants to put it in. But we wanted to build in new safety features. We wanted to have the self-canceling turn signals, so we used the standard GM turn signal switch in the top end. We built detents into the column, so it has a detent in park and also has a detent in neutral to lock the column into position.
Huge deal because a lot of aftermarket columns don't offer that, and if you happen to be sitting in your driveway, sitting somewhere with the car in idle, you never know when something could happen and that car ends up in gear and you have a big problem.
Right, yeah, you don't want it to roll over you or out into the street or whatever. So that was very important to us. Safety always is in our products. So we built it into this one.
How about steering wheels? What can I use for a wheel on here?
You can put any GM wheel on there or any aftermarket wheel with a GM adapter, which is the most common one that's out there. Everybody makes an adapter for GM.
Nice.
We make adapters for just about every aftermarket wheel that's made.
Okay. And how about our electronic, our plug and stuff down here? What are you using there?
Standard issue GM, 3 7/8 GM flat plug. And again, pretty much every aftermarket wiring company has the opposite end of this plug in their kit.
The other great thing, of course, is the aesthetics of this piece. We're talking stainless steel and brass. Doesn't get more timeless than that.
We wanted to make this kind of a special column. It's something really different for Ididit to offer. So we did it all in stainless and brass. And we really like the way it came out. I think it's a beautiful column.
It really is. You know, Ididit has such a wide range of products. We're not just talking about these classic steering columns. You guys offer applications for pretty much anything someone can dream up.
Pretty much. Hot rodding is where we started. We're still very strong in that. That's still kind of our base. But we do tilt columns, non-tilt columns, tilt and telescopic. But we've also moved into the muscle cars. We're doing big into golf carts, believe it or not. Golf cart columns are huge. And a lot of industrial applications, places that people would never expect to see us in. But there's a lot of different things that we're doing besides just the hot rod columns, but this is still kind of our home too, so.
Very neat. If there was one kind of major engineering challenge to get through to get this column the way that you guys wanted it with the classic look and the technology, what was it?
Integrating the self-canceling turn signal switch with the exposed shift tube, because the shift tube is up inside the head of the column. So that was a big one. Making this lower shift lever adjustable, because this isn't always in exactly the right position for everybody. At the end of this, it's a spline shaft. You just take a screw off the end, adjust the shift tube to where you need it to be.
Perfect.
And hook it up from there. The basic design of the column is our classic column that we've had for a number of years. So we adapted it. I just think he did a great job.
No, absolutely. It looks perfect. And again, it's going to look at home in a street rod, classic pickup truck, or even a hot rod. It is just function and form like we talked about. So Marty, when we talk about safety features like the detents and the shifter or the turn signals, there's also a couple more that maybe aren't as visible to people.
Right, well, built into the turn signal switch, of course, it's a standard GM switch. It also has four-way flashers. That's what this knob is for over here. So you've got emergency flashers on the hot rod that, of course, never had it before. It also has a horn wiring built into it.
Where can people learn more about Ididit?
You can give us a call, 517-424-0577. You can go to our website, which is www.ididit.com. You can email us. We're real easy to get a hold of.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Marty, for coming in and showing us the brand new column.
I appreciate the opportunity to come down here. Thanks a lot.
Well, I'm going to make sure John Garner doesn't walk out of the shop with this thing, and I'm going to guard the door until next week. We'll be back with more Motorhead Garage presented by Dustless Plastic.